Some days are better than other days, but these days life is better with you. Some days are better than other days, but these days life is better with you. Life is better. Tell me what you want, I'll give you all that you need with my heart and my hand saying please, baby, please, because nobody does that thing you do better than you. And thoughts to swim around in my head for all the words.
Welcome. This is All Things Napa. I'm Lee Miller.
And I'm Desi Capaz.
We have a great show for you today. We have Scott Goldie from the Napa Valley Wine Train. And the reason I hesitate is because we also have Philip Sales. He's the executive director of the Napa Valley Vine Trail. See how that would be a little confusing? We got some
We
good
put it
spotlights.
together this week, I could tell you that much.
Yeah, we shouldn't have blended them together. But coming up next.
But there's some great guests, though.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to hear some great things from the wine train, and then absolutely the Vine Trail is a phenomenon here in the county that that's going to give.
You know, and a lot of people don't know that it exists. And
Well, they don't.
That's why we're here. We're going to let you know about that. So, and we're going to talk about how you can help with the Vine Trail, and how you can have fun on the wine train. It's so easy.
See, he's getting it.
Yeah.
He's getting it. All right, so next is the business spotlight, though. Here's our next guest, and he does the Napa Spotlight.
What a coincidence.
Whoa, that's pretty cool. Marcel
That's the name
Goldberg.
of his magazine, and he named it that, I think, just because of our show.
For our show?
Yeah.
Right.
Marcel,
Hey,
thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Desi and Lee. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
So what is Napa Spotlight? What is this magazine? Tell us about it.
Thanks for asking. It's a new magazine that just launched last October, and what we do is target specific neighborhoods in the Napa area, and it's all about bringing people together in those neighborhoods. It's kind of like social media and print. So we encourage the residents to participate in the magazine. It's very interactive. It's kind of like Facebook and print without the negativity of politics and things like that. It's totally positive a magazine. We keep politics out of it. And it's all about the families that live in those neighborhoods. We always feature a family on the cover of the magazine. And so we find interesting or influential people to write about. And that's really what it's about bringing people together. And we also help connect them with some of the local and regional businesses in the area. So that's what we're about.
Where do they buy the magazine?
Well, it's not something you can find on a shelf or a newsstand or in a business. It's a private magazine that goes to specific homes in neighborhoods of Silverado Country Club, Alta Heights, the Avenues, and West Browns Valley. Those are the neighborhoods that it is circulated to right now.
So it just shows up?
It goes in their mailbox. They find it in their mailbox every month at the beginning of the month. So they don't have to subscribe to the magazine. So we also offer an opportunity for some of our sponsors to be expert contributors in the magazine, so they can publish articles about their particular businesses and such. So if they're a dentist, they can write about dentistry, plastic surgery, things like that.
So how's this magazine funded? Is it advertising involved, or do people pay for advertising?
It's totally sponsor supported.
Okay.
So in this case, it's different than advertising. Our sponsors are true sponsors. They are sponsoring a neighborhood magazine that's expressly for the people, the residents in those communities.
Well, I greatly appreciate you being here and telling us about Napa Spotlight. We know that you do a little bit of community stuff. We got about 15 seconds. Can you share a little bit of some of those community activities that you do?
As I mentioned to Philip, I volunteered to join the Napa Vine Trail and participated in that. And you and I participated in Napa Business Advantage, which we help local charities and things like that too. So we get involved in, looking to get more involved in the community. I'm kind of a little bit new to the community. I've been here almost 2 years, so I'd like to get more involved in helping out local people.
Well, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks, Marcel. And we have your information up on screen. Marcel Goldberg, he's the owner-publisher of Napa Spotlight magazine. His number is 637-4694. And, of course, you can email him or go to his website at bestversionmedia.com. And thank you for coming on board here and talking about your magazine. Appreciate it, Marcel.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And we'll be right back with our guest, Scott Goldie from the Napa Wine Train. And welcome, Scott.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks.
So we're excited to hear about what new things are present with the wine train. Why don't you tell us a little bit of the history and when you and your group got involved, and then we can move into the things that you're going to be bringing to the wine train.
Yes, so the wine train has been operating now for about 26 and a half years. We're the second owner of the Napa Valley Wine Train, and we acquired it from the Vince DiDomenico family that ran it for the first 25 years. In fact, we closed escrow on it exactly 25 years from the start of the business.
Wow.
And we're really excited to be the second owner. We're taking the train in a much different direction, which hopefully we'll be able to talk about
How do you
today.
take a train in a different direction? But I digress. From a business perspective, a different direction.
From a business perspective, and it's our goal to be a long-term owner as well. As the first owner was, that's our business model as well.
Right.
Well, I mean, what do you see and what do you have store for this new year?
So the traditional train, the first 25 years, operated lunch and occasionally operated dinner. So it was essentially being used for 3 hours a day. Mm-hmm. We saw a great opportunity to actually start doing wine tastings. So the train would stop at wineries, there'd be tastings, and there'd be gourmet food in between. Last June, we started a wine tasting experience called the Quattro Vino. It's a 6-hour experience. It stops at Mondavi, Krug, Maryvale, and Visatui. And in between those tastings are 4 gourmet bite meals. So it's a really good value. It's been tremendously popular. We sell out about 2 months in advance during season. So this year, what we have in store is 3 more wine tasting trains or wine tasting experiences with new wineries, the likes of which are Inglenook and Hall and Contessa and Silver Oak. And so we'll have 2 of those launching in June and a third one launching in September. We'll have 4 wine tasting experiences total, while still maintaining the traditional lunch train, dinner train.
I know I love the food there on the train. I tell everybody about it, so it's wonderful. And are you gonna have any new chefs or any kind of change in?
Yeah, this past year, Kelly McDonald was the chef for 17 years.
Right.
He decided to pursue other opportunities, so we were very fortunate to get a new chef from Southern Florida. His name's Donald Young.
Okay.
And he's fantastic.
Forward to that.
Yeah. I got to confess, and I feel guilty saying it, I haven't done it yet.
What?
I haven't done a
ever?
wine train yet.
Ever?
No.
So you're not supposed to admit that to.
I know. And it's not a hint that I get a free, because I should pay, especially after admitting that I haven't been there.
Charge him double now.
Yeah.
Well, you're exactly the person we want to go after, because prior to acquiring the train, I had never ridden it in 20 years.
Okay.
And it's not as many local people as we would like,
Right.
because the experience never varies. So if we can end up with these multiple opportunities for wine tasting trains, we're also going to have evening wine tasting train. We're going to have concerts start later this year. It's an opportunity for people to either buy into a series or definitely come back. 60% of the visitors are day trippers. We need to get more of those local people to experience different opportunities on the train.
Is there like a Napa Neighbors type of a program, or is that in essence the packages that you?
Is that what you would mean, a more favorable rate locally?
Correct.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We do that.
Okay. Do you hear that, people?
Well, so are you going to keep the traditional events going? Like, for example, me and my family, we always take the kids during Christmas. I mean, that's our
the
favorite
Santa
time,
train,
the
yeah.
Santa train. And this year, you kind of centered it around the theme of like the Polar Express, which we thought it was fantastic, and taking the kids out to a lighted village. So that was really nice. Is we expected to see that?
Yeah, and so we expanded the number of visitors on that train from 4,000 to 12,000.
Wow.
And that was the first year of that program. And we got some positive feedback, and we had some room for improvement. So this coming year, you're going to see additional improvements that you have less downtime, there'll be more food. But it was a tremendous response in terms of tripling the volume. And it's only going to get better and become more of a tradition as we go on.
Yeah, that's always fun with our family, that's for sure.
So tell us about RAD.
So the Rail Arts District is something that we formed in this last year. And the idea is the 1.7 mile corridor between Vallejo on the south and Redwood on the north along the Napa Valley Vine Trail, and also
Vallejo the street, not Vallejo the
yeah,
town.
the street.
Okay.
It'd be a lot longer of a
Yeah,
stretch.
it'd be a big art district, yeah.
But in that area, the train goes through that industrial area, and it's not very pretty. And we were fortunate to find out there was a group as part of the Vine Trail that was seeking a master plan to improve it. Our idea is the Wine Train was to mimic art district in Miami called Wynwood Walls. And you bring in some of the most significant mural artists from around the world. And before starting the master plan, the idea was to have some early successful projects. We were able to, earlier this year, have 2 artists out of Poland came in and painted the first mural. And if anyone hasn't seen it, please go see it. It's right behind St. Clair Brown's Winery. And it's fantastic. We've had a tremendous amount of positive feedback. We'll have another artist painting a mural. He's from Argentina. Will be here in March. Another artist in April as part of Arts in April to be here at the end of April. Her name is Cinta Vidal, also world class. And we'll be expanding that out to include regional and local artists as the district grows. There's a tremendous amount of art opportunities.
Yeah, that's good that you addressed that for the local artists, because that was a question that I had. But
We had an open house at the station. Over 100 people came, and we got a lot of positive feedback about how to keep working with it in the future.
No, I mean, to incorporate the arts and culture of this town is that's a win-win situation for everyone. So, just have you expanded in real estate?
Yeah, so my background is as a real estate developer for almost 30 years. And so when we were initially brought the opportunity of the train, I viewed it from that perspective. And so there are 17 parcels of land that are non-essential to the operation of the train that we have from all the way from the Napa Valley College to the Krug Winery. It's 21 miles. So from a development standpoint, there's significant opportunities along the train tracks, including Napa, Yountville, St. Helena, Rutherford, and we're starting to explore those now. I mean, initially, the train was the emphasis. Near term, it's actually the emphasis because the operational improvements that were so easy to see. But long term, the real estate portfolio is going to be very significant.
it's a much more overall profitable venture for you, I'm sure.
And the other thing it's allowing us to do is we're really stretching out and trying to create partnerships along the way. And not only with jurisdictions, but also with wineries, business owners, and that could potentially include business commuter service in the future.
So we only got about a minute left. Is there anything else that you want our audience to know in this last minute that you can take it away?
Yeah, all I would like to say is that the Napa Valley Vine Trail, the Wine Train, that's your next guest,
Right.
it is open for business. We would like to meet with anyone that would like to meet with us to talk either about what we're doing or about potential partnerships in the future. I would say that the group we put together, our partner is out of Seattle, 50% partner, Noble House Hotels and Resorts. They're very creative, family-owned business. We are, and we'd like to be a real open, integral part of the Napa Valley going forward. Come ride the train and come see the art district.
Well, you're definitely a part of this community. I know that. I mean,
yeah.
I constantly tell people you have to go on that train. It's just a wonderful experience.
Really
But thank you,
appreciate it.
Scott. Yeah, absolutely.
thank you
Thank you
very
for
much.
joining us. And we're going to put Scott's information up on the screen for you. If you need to get a hold of him, he's with the Napa Valley Wine Train. And that's Goldie at winetrain.com. And the number's right there, 253-2111. And you can see the website right there. Next is going to be Napa's Real Estate Minute with guess who? This guy right here. Next.
Hi, I'm Lee Miller, and it's time for your Real Estate Minute. Tips for sellers. That's what we're going to talk about today. It's important that we price the home correctly right out of the gates. If you price it too competitive or too high, then it's not going to be competitive and you won't get any offers on it. There's plenty of comps out there, so talk to your realtor about getting those comps and have that realtor show you that information. You can arrive at that price together. Also be careful that you're not going to get a high quote from a realtor that's just saying that to get the listing, because that unfortunately does happen out there. If you are going to price it say at 505, it'd be better to price it at 500. So under that threshold, because searches are typically done in those thresholds. But you know, at the end of the whole process, it's not going to be your realtor, it's not going to be you that's going to determine what your house is going to sell for. It's going to be the market. The buyers are going to come to you with the offers that they think that it's worth. And so a lot of times we're wrong, either on the high side or the low side. If you'd like to talk to me about any other information about tips for sellers, just go ahead and reach out to me directly at 707-266-1585. This is Lee Miller with your Real Estate Minute.
And yeah, we are back, and that was a great seller's tip. I can tell you that much, man.
Thanks.
I mean, we need to get more sellers out there.
Yeah.
There is just low inventory, and we need to bring
We
more
have
into the
buyers that
market.
have nothing to buy.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. Well, our next guest is Philip Sales from the Vine Trail.
The executive director.
The executive
He's
director.
The Grand Poobah of the Vine Trail, the Napa Valley Vine Trail.
You know, when I think of Grand Poobah, I think of that hat, the buffalo hat with the two in his
Fred
furry.
Barney?
Yeah.
Fred Barney, yeah.
No one does that anymore?
No,
I'm sorry.
thankfully. But we really digress.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Thanks
Thank you
for
so
joining us
much.
today.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I think we have some great topics today, and one being the Vine Trail. And, you know, I live by the Vine Trail, and I think it's a wonderful project. How did it get started? Can you tell us?
Well, it started in 2007 when Napa County Transportation Planning Agency put out a request for proposal to do a feasibility study of the whole valley. And I happened to be the project manager for the firm that got the contract to do it. So I've been involved with the project since day one. And we basically focused on the Highway 29 corridor because there's a lot of public land there. We didn't have to get into buying a lot of right-of-way from private property owners. And there were some segments of the trail already in existence, like the Crosstown Commuter Bike Path. And there's a little section of trail north of Dunawheel Lane up in Calistoga. So we had some stuff to work with. What we've been doing is piecing it all together since then. In the 10 years or so since that feasibility study was developed, we formed a nonprofit organization, the Vine Trail Coalition, which Lee is a member of our board. We've been able to work with lots of different interest groups in the valley, including economic interest groups, health providers, education, environmental groups, public agencies, the sheriff's office. We've pretty much covered everybody. It's a great coalition. I have to give credit to our board president, Chuck McMinn, who pulled it together. And we're sort of a different kind of animal to a lot of other trail organizations. We're not just there trying to get the trail built, but we're also trying to raise money as well. So we come to the table with some resources that we help to leverage grants and so forth.
And the money that you need to raise is not just for trail construction because of all of the real estate involved. Is that?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. One of the things that the coalition did early on is we pledged that we would raise money to help support the maintenance of the trail. We have 13 different public agencies that are involved in the trail. Each one of them gets to operate their own piece of it. So we wanted to make sure that when we go into a city that we would have something to help them with that. So we fund about 50% of the maintenance of the trail. And that's a commitment we made. We have an agreement with Yountville right now. We're about to do an agreement with the county and the city of Napa. So we've looked at this in the long term because we don't intend just to be an organization to build it, but we're here to help maintain it and maintain it in a way that's appropriate for a beautiful valley like Napa where people come from all over the world to come see it.
Well, how successful have you been so far?
Well, to date we have been relatively successful. We were able to leverage our grants money back in 2009 thanks to the first grant that was awarded through the Reconstruction America grant. There was a program that the Obama administration put in place. A section of the trail got built in Yountville. We call it the Yountville Mile, and in the words of real estate sellers like yourself, we call it the show home.
Right.
We had it built then, and we had signage up there. And then we waited a couple of years until we were able to get some more federal money. And this last year, we built 12.5 miles. We connected all the way from Kennedy Park up to Yountville. So you can get on the Vine Trail now, and with a small gap around the area of Vallejo Street and 3rd Street. With that exception, you can ride or walk all the way from Kennedy Park up to Yountville. We were also able to get a grant to build from St. Helena to Calistoga. We got a $6.1 million grant. We have to raise $3 million in private monies from philanthropy to help leverage that grant. So it's important for us to, we're going to be doing a lot of fundraising on that over the next couple of years. But that will allow that section of the project to be built by 2020. And then last month, we got a $4.2 million grant to build a section from Vallejo up to American Canyon. So again, we're looking for matching funds for that. We have to raise another $800,000 for that project.
Yeah, but man, without those grants, I can't even imagine how difficult that would be. And now that, you need to do the matching, but that's, less than half, right?
Well, our strategy right from the get-go was to try to leverage, for every $3 in federal and state monies, we would raise $1 in matching funds. And that's something we've kept pretty much as the rubric for our fundraising effort. So, for instance, the grants that we got for the section we just completed from Yountville down to Kennedy Park, we raised $3 million of that. $1 million was from a Founders Circle fundraising pledge campaign that we did. And, that is part of the whole genesis of this project, is to try to act as a catalyst, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Well, does, the Vine Trail, not only is it going to serve, recreational activities for everyone, but is it going to serve anything educational for?
Absolutely. We decided, we've got several committees. We have a programs committee. We have a committee that deals with art. We've been working, as you just heard from your previous guest, with the Wine Train on the Arts District. And we have other committees, the engineering committee. But the programs committee was very important for us because we wanted to make sure that it was a trail that's relevant to the general public here in Napa Valley. It's not just for tourists.
Right.
And so last year we funded developing curriculum for 2nd to 8th graders to be able to use the trail as an outdoor classroom. And so we've got those curriculum in place, and working with the educational folks at the Napa County Office of Education, we're hoping to get school groups out there using the trail as an outdoor classroom. Yeah. And we've also installed 19 interpretive signs which talk about the valley in terms of history, geology, winemaking, all sorts of things that'll be interesting, not just for adults, but for kids too.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. I know every time I'm anywhere with my wife, like at a national park, she stops and reads every single one of those. So.
And we're going to have
I'm
audio.
the same way.
That's a lot of stuff to read.
And we're going to have audio with each of those signs too,
wow.
on our Vine Trail app that we're hoping to launch by June.
Well, how do people get involved? I mean, how can they help fund?
Well, absolutely. We've got several programs. We've tried to design a menu of choices. You can join as a basic member for $47 because it's a 47-mile trail, so $47 gets you in the door.
Not a $50.
Not a $50.
47.
But for $147, you become a Century Club member, and a Century Club member gets a bag of swag. You'll get a hat, a water bottle, a jute tote bag, and a T-shirt. And you'll feel much better in all that gear.
Yeah.
For $1,000, you get one of these lovely footprints. At one of our iconic Vine Trail shelters, you can purchase a footprint. It's a metal aluminum footprint embedded in the concrete. It'll be there for you and your friends and your family to come and see whatever you wrote about them, hopefully nice. And you'll be able to come out and look at it.
For $1,000?
For $1,000.
And that's the actual size.
And that's the actual size itself. It happens to be a size 8.
The viewers can't see that little tiny print. I was helping them out.
And we also have some information about becoming a Vine Trail supporter, which, if you're interested, we have these online. And do go to vinetrail.org. You can find out ways to donate and help us out. And we'd really look forward to seeing you out on the trail.
Wonderful. Well, Philip, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that we were able to educate some people. And I know that there are some people, I recently talked to somebody, they didn't know that there was a Vine Trail.
Well, we will have to go visit them.
In a way that's tragic, and in a way it's really good news, because that means that there's now more people that know, and they can help.
Well, see, it's a faster track for me to get on my bike and ride down to St. Clair Brown Winery, man. It just, boop, right there. And, get to sit down on the patio and have some wine.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for Desi,
yeah. Yeah.
look on the Vine Trail.
Athletics and alcohol. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Same. I don't know. I don't know if that should work.
Well, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Lee. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you, Philip. That was a great interview with Philip Sales. I
Yeah.
tell you, I meant the Vine Trail is
Such a great thing to have in
it's
the
really good.
valley.
It is. It is. I know I utilize it whenever I can.
We don't need any more white crosses on Silverado Trail.
Yeah.
And bicyclists that are getting.
Yeah, no doubt.
So it's a good thing.
Well, our next spotlight is the mortgage spotlight, and that's with Mr. Whitlock, right, from First Cal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That's
how you
right.
doing?
I'm
Thanks
great.
for joining us.
Yeah.
Does
thank
your
you for
mortgage have
having
a
me.
first name?
Yeah, he does. It's Scott. I know it's Scott. I just say Mr. Whitlock.
I know. Just trying to give you respect.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Well, tell us about First Cal and.
Yeah, so
Tell us
First
about you.
California Mortgage, we are based out of Petaluma. So all of our underwriters and corporate is out of Petaluma. It's a family-owned business, and we've been there for 40 years. And it's been great. I've actually been with First Cal for about the last 5 years. Prior to that, we opened up our office in Vacaville, California. Even though I've been a Napa local for my entire life, we had our office over in Vacaville. And then just this past fall, we opened up our office in Napa, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, no
to be
more
able
commuting.
Yeah.
to be here local and be more part of my community. And so my partner, Nathan Pena, been working with him for 12 years now. And it's just one of those things where we've built our business around our clients, making sure that we do everything to help our clients. I know that when my wife and I bought our first home, it was something that we probably shouldn't have done. You know, it was right at the peak of that market 12 years ago, and we just didn't know what we were doing. And so ever since that experience, I've made sure that I want to walk my clients through the process. I want to educate them on what they're doing and why they're doing it. You know, I think buying a home is an admirable thing to do, but it might not be for everybody.
Well, quickly, Scott, because we only have about 30 seconds, but what special products do you have that can help that first-time home buyer or any home buyer?
And I think for Napa, which is with the prices where we're at right now, it's very difficult to purchase. And so we've got a program where our company has partnered up with a program where if you have 10% of your own funds for a down payment, we will match that. And so it allows you to have 20% down with no mortgage insurance.
Really?
Wow, that's
That is incredible.
It is, and there's not an income restriction to that. It's purely a conventional loan, 30-year fix, 15-year fix, whatever
So
you
what's
choose.
the catch?
Well, there is a catch, yes, and that's something It's basically when you sell that house, they will take a percentage of the profit. The greatest part about it is they will also write it down. If the market were to crash, they will take a percentage of the loss as well, which can
No
save you
risk,
from
yeah.
a potential foreclosure
But
or
can
short
the
sale.
buyer buy them out? Like out of that 10%?
No, this is purely a profit aspect of it.
Okay, so-
if there's nothing to buy out.
Okay.
Necessarily.
Okay.
So it's whatever percentage of the profit. It's a great program.
I think people should get a hold of Scott if they...
And we'll put his information on the screen. That's pretty interesting. I've not seen that before. So if you'd like to get in touch with Scott and get some of those additional questions you may have, go ahead and reach out to him at 337-1069. And Scott, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks for telling us a little bit about First Cal.
Of course. Appreciate it. My pleasure.
And this is Desi Capaz with your Napa market update. And I'm going to talk about inventory. And inventory has been at an all-time low here in the county. Under 6 months is usually a balanced market, or anything at 6 months is a balanced market. Anything below that is a seller's market. And we've been unchanged since last year of January of 2016. It's been 2.9 months of worth of inventory out there. A couple things here. It may be a seller's market, and that's a good thing for sellers, but at the same time, buyers are a little bit more savvier, and they're taking their purchases a little bit more under a microscope. So it's not as easy for them purchasing. So what's happening is days on the market are growing, and especially last month, days on the market has increased. So if you need any information on any type of real estate anywhere in Napa, please give me a call. My number is 707-260-9906, or you can see me on my website at www.capaz.com. capazrealty.com. Enjoy the Napa Valley life. And that's all for our show this month, but I tell you what, that was a heck of a show.
Yeah.
We learned a lot, and we're very fortunate in Napa to have such wonderful businesses like the wine train, and of course having something like the Vine Trail out there.
It just adds so much to our community for not only our tourists, but all for the local citizens here in Napa too.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for all our sponsors, all the people that work on this show, and all our guests. So we'll see you next month on All Things Napa.
Some days are better than other days, but these days life is better with you. Some days are better than other days, but these days life is better with you. Life is better. Tell me what you want, I'll give you all that you need with my heart. My hand saying please, baby, please.